Welcome to Digital Marketing ROI, the podcast that connects marketing to your business's revenue and covers everything you need to know to stay up to date in this crazy digital marketing world.
Welcome to Digital Marketing ROI. I'm your host today, Krystal Vivian, and today I am joined by a very special guest, Melissa Wyrick, one of our social media specialists and our location concierge expert. Welcome, Melissa.
Hello, I'm happy to be here.
I'm happy to have you here. Today's conversation is really important because I think for many businesses, we think about, well, we have to make sure that our website is set up, right? And that all of that is perfect, and that our social media is set up, and that all of that is perfect. But there are actually a lot of places across the internet where your business is showing up to consumers, places that you might not even know about. If their business listing isn't accurate, it can create a lot of problems for your business, right?
Yes, so many problems. And your business information shows up in over 200 places across the internet. So many of those that you probably have never heard their name before, but who has heard their name is Google and AI search engines. So we should get familiar.
Yes, we absolutely should get familiar. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about reviews and why these are so important for businesses and what you need to know to make sure that your business is showing up correctly. Melissa, let's start off by just talking very broadly. What exactly is a business listing and where do they live online?
So it's a really basic thing. It's name, address, phone number. You can call it NAP for short. And it's just the foundation of what your business is. And it shows up in over 200 places across the internet. And a lot of businesses, they think about Google. Some people might think about Yelp. Some people might think about Facebook, but those are just three of the huge landscape that we have to deal with. And the thing is, you don't think about these listings because you're not going across all these publishers and creating your listing there. The data aggregator is doing that for you. And you might not know they exist, but AI search engines know they exist. Google knows they exist. And when people search for you, Google and AI search engines are combing those listings and seeing how accurate your information is across the board.
Well, and it's so important that these aggregators or these listings also feed into other data aggregators. Like I always think of Foursquare, right?
Yeah.
That used to be a social networking site that was huge. And they closed down the social aspect of it, but all of that data was still there. And so what Foursquare now is, all of that data, now they sell their information to another third-party source that consumers are using. And as a consumer, they're not going, well, I'm going to go to Foursquare to get this information. They're just like, I'm a Hilton Rewards member. That's where I stay all the time. So now that I'm here on vacation, I'm going to look in their concierge app for their recommendations.
Right.
That's why even if you've never heard of it, or if it's one that you thought died 10 years ago.
It may have died for consumers, but it didn't die for the aggregators who can still use that information. So we still need to make sure it's accurate.
So let's talk about what actually happens if that information isn't accurate, if a consumer finds inaccurate information about a business online.
So the first thing that happens is usually anger, frustration. I actually have a personal story where I had a foot doctor appointment. I had never been to this foot doctor before. And the day I was supposed to go, I looked online, which was not smart to look on the day I was supposed to go because they had bad reviews. And we can talk about those bad reviews in just a little bit. But when I looked online, I saw their listing and it was, I don't know, 10 a.m. on a Thursday. And it said that they were closed and they opened at 8 a.m. on Monday. And in my head, I thought, well, they scheduled me for this appointment. Surely they're open. So I could use common sense in that instance. But if I didn't want to waste a 25-mile trip or call, maybe I just wouldn't have shown up. And I did show up and they were open. But what if you flipped that script? I looked online and I saw, oh, yay, blank, blank podiatrist is open. I'm going to drive 25 miles. And then I go to the door and it's locked. I would be really mad because I took time out of my work day to go get my foot looked at and the place is closed and they didn't let me know and their listing was wrong online and they might not even know that their listing was wrong is the thing. And I'm not going to get mad at the directory. Like as a consumer, like let's say I didn't work in the job that I work at, I think it's all the business's job to update everything, which when you don't have a location concierge doing the work for you, it is your job. As a consumer, I would think, oh my gosh, I hate this foot doctor. I'm going to leave a bad review and never come back here. And I'm not the only one, because 71% of consumers have experienced the same thing of the details being in wrong number, wrong hours, wrong address. And a lot of those people, 76% of them actually, are not going to give that business a second chance, because why would they? Like they took time out of their day and it's wrong and it's annoying.
Let's pause there though for a
Okay.
second. I just want to highlight that stat because I think that's powerful.
It's a lot of people.
3/4 of the people who encounter wrong information about your business listing online, they're not going to give you a second chance.
No.
And
And
it's
that's a
something
lot of,
as simple as your hours not being accurate.
right. Because let's say your hours said 8 to 6 and you really closed at 5 and somebody gets off work, they're going to go to the bank. They're looking forward to depositing their check. Now they can't. They're mad.
Yeah.
And it's important to people that you fit into their day, how they think you're going to fit into their day. And we all know that a lot of the time, happy people aren't the first ones to leave reviews. It's usually the frustrated people who want to leave reviews because we need an outlet and we want other people to not experience the same negative experience that we've experienced. Then those unhappy people leave reviews. Then your potential customers read those reviews and trust is lost for customers in your business.
It's so incredible how quickly that can happen. And I want to talk about reviews in a couple of minutes, but I want to first talk about, you said that there's 200 plus different business listings.
Mhm.
So it's not just about having accurate information on Google Business, even though
Mhm.
your Google Business profile might be correct, but
Right.
having incorrect information on other listings is important too. Why does consistency across all of those publishers actually matter to Google, and especially with AI?
So Google is the king or queen, however you want to look at it. And they're going to cross-reference all of these little publishers to see what kind of information is out there and see what's accurate and what's not. Even a detail as small as street, STREET, and street, ST period, can count as an inaccuracy and an inconsistency between those two things. Even though us humans know that they mean the same thing,
Right.
Google doesn't always know that, and it just looks like two different value fields to Google. Like when Google sees two things that don't match, it can't know which one is accurate. Like let's say worse than the street versus ST, you moved locations and you updated your Google business profile to reflect your changed location and didn't know to update it anywhere else. Google sees two different addresses. It can't know which one is the right one. So then it just deprioritizes your listing because it thinks that it has no idea what to think, really. It's like, well, I don't know which one is the actual thing. They're different from each other. So this person must not have their information correct. So I'm not going to rank them high in search. So when customers look for you, they can't find you.
Does it matter how often you are updating these business listings?
I'd say a good frequency to just take a peek at your Google business profile is once a month. You want to make sure that all your information looks good. And across the calendar year, a lot of holidays happen, whether they're minor or major, and you want to update your holiday hours like Memorial Day or Labor Day. A lot of businesses have varying hours, and you want your business listing to reflect the accurate hours that you're open. And once a quarter, you could look at your profile and add new photos that you've taken, update your FAQs. All of these updates tell Google that you are keeping up on your information. It's all accurate. And listen to this stat. And for every 1% increase in how often a business updates its listing data, we see approximately 2.23% more Google clicks. So that tells us that Google loves updated, accurate information. Well, the more you update information, Google knows that it's accurate because you're keeping up on it and not
Mhm.
letting it go stale.
Yes. And so it sees that as being more valuable and also updating the other publishers as well, right?
because they look to Google for that accurate information. And AI tools cite those smaller platforms and publishers for information. And when people do a search on Google, its AI overview is scanning those smaller publishers for that information. So you want to make sure it's accurate. At least once a month is a good frequency to check that everything looks good.
Okay. Fantastic. So you talked a little bit about reviews earlier, so let's dive deep into that. Overall, how much do online reviews actually influence consumers' decisions over which businesses they're going to choose to work with or choose to patronize?
So the crazy stat is that 99% of consumers read reviews before they make a purchase. And honestly, it does make sense because I can't remember the last time I made a purchase without at least just peeking at the reviews, especially if it's something I've never bought before. Like I recently bought bedhead hair products and I've bought them in a physical store, but I still looked at the reviews when I bought them on Amazon just because that social proof matters.
Yeah. Well, if I'm going to buy something new, especially something like a personal care item, even if I'm in the store, sometimes I will look on Amazon at the
Mhm.
reviews. That's a big deal. And if it's a business that I'm going to, just speaking from a consumer perspective, that I've never been to before, I do look it up on, well, first of all, if it's someplace I'm driving to, like I'm looking it up on maps because I am
You
not
got
trying
to
to get
find
lost
parking.
out here. And I've got, you know me, I've got, what is the parking situation? I have to know.
Sometimes I won't go to a place if it has bad parking.
Straight up, 100%
I'm not
agreed.
doing it.
If I have to parallel park, it's a
No.
game over. It's not happening. But reading the reviews of those places, and
Yep.
especially like if you think of like an emergency services, like a
Oh yeah.
plumber or an HVAC, if your air conditioner goes out this summer, the reviews of those places matters a lot,
Because those
but
are
it's really,
people in your home fixing
yeah.
your do or die appliances.
Hmm. Yeah.
Reviews are huge. And like we are not unique in that reviews influence our decision because 93% of people say that that is the case for them as well. And here's the thing though. You might think, well, reviews aren't really that important. At least I don't have a negative review. If my business has no reviews, that can't be that bad. Well, 92% of customers may not use your business if you don't have any reviews at all. Because it's like, is this business real? Have people ever gone here? Nobody's saying anything about this business. It's a little weird to people. You know what I mean?
It's like there's no social proof. And so it's like,
Right.
is this a business that Google just made up?
Right. Or is like, did they just start out? Like, it's weird to people if you don't have reviews. So, and what is also joining the conversation are AI tools, because when you search up something on ChatGPT, they're looking at reviews when you type in something. Let's just say you type in chat, find me the best Mexican restaurants within a 10-mile radius of me. I don't know how many Mexican restaurants are in a 10-mile radius of me. I think two. Chat's going to take that word best and it's going to find listings that have 3.5 or higher star ratings to find you the best rated restaurants that you want to go to. So that's why reviews matter. You need them for that social proof and you need them for the AI tools in Google to give you the search results that you're looking for.
As you talked about earlier, it's really easy for people who have had a bad experience to leave a bad review. How do
Yes.
you get people to leave a good review?
All you need to do is ask people because so many people are willing to share their good experiences they've had with you. If you just send them an email with a link to write a review, they're going to leave a good review if they had a good experience with you. All they need to do is be prompted. A lot of people, if they had a good experience and they don't get asked to leave a review, they just leave, get in the car, and think, yay. They don't think to write a review. But if you ask them, they might just do it. And actually, 83% of customers who are asked to leave a review go and leave one. So all it is sending an email to ask.
Yeah. Or I think if you are in person with them, talking to you
Right.
about it in person, because like there's a local car wash here that when you're getting your car washed, they ask you to leave a Google
Oh,
review and they just say like, "Hey, while we're washing your car, can you leave us a Google review and tell us about your experience?" And the first time I was like, well, no, because I've not gotten my car washed yet. So I want to give an accurate review. But then the second time I went back and I was like, hey, I had a great experience. I brought my car back, but I did not remember to do it
Oh,
for that first time. It was when I came back that second time when they
hmm.
prompted me again and I was a repeat customer. So I think the prompting is really big.
Oh, one more thing. You could have a QR code on your front desk so people could scan it and
That's a
reviews that way.
Yeah, that's a good idea too.
Easy
Yeah, if
for
you have like a
people.
lobby waiting area.
Mhm.
Does recency matter at all when it comes to reviews?
Recency definitely matters. So people usually look at reviews left in the last 2 weeks. And another thing, along with recency, is that your response to reviews, whether the review is positive or negative, really matters because we're looking at the stats, and 88% of consumers would use a business that responds to all its reviews. And the thing is, it's really not very hard to do. All you have to do is respond within a week. And if it's a good review, say, hey, thanks for stopping in. We're really glad that you're happy. It was our pleasure. And if it was a bad review, you say, we're so sorry you had this experience and offer a reasonable way to help fix it for them. And people who are looking at your business to see if they want to patronize you may see that negative review, but they also see your response to the negative review is proactive and wants to make the best experience possible for the customer. So they might just see you in a better light than if they had just seen the negative review. So your response really matters.
I think that's really important too, because like bad experiences happen. Like
Right. We're all
nobody
human.
no, is perfect. And maybe an employee had a bad day, or maybe that person just had a bad day.
Right. And they
Um,
misinterpreted things.
yeah, but making sure that you have that genuine response is just going to build that trust and repair any damage that that bad review did.
Yes. So for the potential customers and also for the customer who did have a bad review, their mind could totally be changed about you with just a simple you reaching out.
I think that's awesome.
Yeah.
So, what does a business actually need to do when it comes to their business listings and their review generation?
So here's what we need to do. You have to audit every directory. And yes, even the ones that you think don't matter, such as Hot Frog, which is a crazy name, Silex, brownbook.net, but they are important because AI search engines really look at them. Claim the listings you didn't create so your business can have all of its eggs in one basket. Correct the inconsistencies because, like we talked about, even STREET versus ST period counts as an inaccuracy. Monitor for changes. So we're talking that once a month, going through your profiles and seeing if anything changed, if Google absorbed anything that wasn't right. So we want to check for that once a month. You can request reviews from your customers for the last 30 or 60 days. So you want to send out those review generation emails and get people to send their reviews in. Then you want to respond to those reviews within a week to keep everything just up to date, keep those customers seeing the reviews that you got and that you're responding to them. So, yes, it does sound like a lot, but the good part is that we can do all that for you. It is a lot to think about as a business owner. You're doing 10 billion other different things. You don't have time to do all of that stuff. When you don't have time for it, it falls to the wayside, it gathers dust, and then your listings are 99% inaccurate across the web. And when people search you, they can't find you. So, depending on us to keep all of your information up to date and accurate, generate reviews with your help if you send us the customers' names and emails, and respond to those reviews, it just takes a whole load off your plate.
Well, especially if you're talking about 200 plus potential different publishers that you have to
Yeah, a
go through
lot.
and find all of that information and update it and make sure that it's accurate.
And the good thing is, when you have managed listings, like all your listings look good, you're going to see 49% more profile views and 153% higher click through rates. Like that's everything.
That's incredible. Well, I think that it's obviously very valuable to make sure that this is taken care of. And we should be clear that this is not something that you do as part of your advertising. This is
Right.
like the basics of how you show up online.
This
Think of
is
it
like
as like the
Oz behind the curtain.
2026 version of being in the yellow pages in 1993.
Yes. Just like Yellow Pages times 10 or times
Yeah.
200.
Times 200. Yes.
Yeah.
We always like to end the podcast with talking about ROI. So we've
Yes.
talked about how important the business listings are and the review generation is, but what's the actual ROI of getting accurate listings and a strong review profile and getting this right for a business?
So if you have inaccurate listings, if you're not generating reviews, if you're not responding to reviews, you could lose up to $21,000 per year. And for small businesses, that is huge and that's not doable. So keeping these listings accurate, you need it to keep from losing that money. If you're a business that has multiple locations, that's not just $21,000. That's $42,000. That's whatever 21,000 plus $42,000 is.
63,000.
But what I'm saying is some businesses out here have 10 listings that are inaccurate. And that's that loss of money for every single one of those locations. And it's going to add up fast. The best thing is you can keep all of these listings accurate and you don't have to spend a single dollar on your ads. It's not about advertising, like you said. It's like Oz behind the curtain. We're keeping everything straight behind the scenes. So it can all look good for the people in front of the curtain when they're searching you and when Google is finding you and when AI search engines are finding you. If everything looks accurate across the board, businesses that have accurate listings are going to receive 40% more same day visits. Those are people who are ready to buy like right now, right this minute. That's 40% more people if your listings are accurate. That's awesome. And
Wow.
when your listings are managed, so managed listings, they drive 49% more profile views and 153% higher click-through rate. So that's great. And businesses that have higher Google reviews, more positive Google reviews, see an 18% increase in revenue from search results. And without spending $1 on advertising. So that's amazing.
That can really make your advert, like the money that you, sorry to interrupt you,
No.
but to me, like the money that you are spending on your paid ads, especially paid search ads, right? We've talked about in previous episodes on the podcast, your paid search ads are your lead generators, right? That is what's going to drive the most traffic to your website. And it's incredibly powerful for business. We see the biggest ROI, yes, for our clients through paid search ads. But imagine how much more powerful those paid search ads are when it's backed up by a strong Google business profile with positive reviews. Like
Right.
it works. What you're talking about, review generation and managing your business listings, it's not advertising, but it does increase the power of your advertising too.
Right. They work hand in hand.
Yeah.
And like what you said about going to that Google business profile and seeing those positive reviews, it's as small as a 0.1 star increase in your average rating. That could increase conversions by 25%. Like it's very incremental, but it can make such a big difference. And along those same lines, when a business has 5 or more reviews, conversion rates increase by 270%. That's crazy. And finally, about the review response, 88% of consumers are going to use a business that responds to all of its reviews versus 47% who will use one that doesn't respond. That's a big difference.
That's a huge difference.
People are looking for your response and how you reply to happy people and not so happy people, just to see what kind of business you are and how you respond to all sorts of situations. And responding doesn't cost you a dime, but not responding can cost you customers, which sucks.
This is incredibly important. And I love that you're throwing out all of those stats too, because it's not just this is what we think. This is the hard data of why this is really incredible. This is your digital storefront, right? This is if people are searching online, whether they're on their computer or on their phone, how you show up to them is as important as how your physical location shows up to them. And if you have the wrong address on your physical location, nobody's coming. Having the wrong address on your digital storefront is
just detrimental.
Problem. And like going back to if you show up at the bank and it's closed when you thought it was going to be open, that's a huge problem. And as a business owner, you would fix that immediately on your physical storefront. You have to do it the same thing. It's the same problem. It's just happening online.
It's not just about the annoyance or frustration either when it comes down to it. It's about how much trust you have in that business that you're using. And when they have inaccurate information, that trust gets lost.
And I think now more than ever, consumers want to have that trust
Yeah.
in the businesses that they're working with, that they're
Yes.
buying from.
Yes. That's everything.
Well, Melissa, this was an incredible conversation. I know you've enlightened me, and I think that our audience has a lot to take away from this. Thank you, Melissa, for joining us today and sharing your expertise.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And thank you to our listeners for joining us today for this episode. We will talk to you next time on Digital Marketing ROI.
You've been listening to Digital Marketing ROI from Federated Digital Solutions. Do you have an idea for a future episode or a burning digital marketing question? Text ROI to 45364 to get a link where you can share your idea. Subscribe to get new episodes every other Thursday, plus Tip Tuesday insights every week.
Podcasts by Federated Media.